Chapter 26. Here we go. Wild Boy turned, taking in their new surroundings. They were in another passage, but it was very different to the rough stone tunnel they'd just passed through. The arched walls were smooth and carved at the top with faces of angels. Suits of armour stood along their sides, shimmering in the glare of fire torches that burned in iron brackets. In one direction was another metal door. In the other, a stone staircase spiralled up into the dark. "Maybe we should get the police," Clarissa said. "Tell them that the killer's in the tunnel. They could catch him." There was no way Wild Boy was going to the police. He didn't think they'd believe him, even if he turned up with a hooded man wrapped in ribbons. "No, the golden-eyed man will help us. He was after the killer and all. It's him we got to find." But that wasn't the only reason he wanted to find that man. The golden-eyed man was clearly in charge of the gentleman, and the gentleman had the machine. It was close. Wild Boy was sure. "So which way do we go?" Clarissa said. "Which way did he go?" Wild Boy took another torch from the wall and swept the light around the ground. The gentleman carrying the crate had left heavy footprints in the dust near the iron door, but he couldn't see any marks from the golden-eyed man's cave. He turned. At the bottom of the stairs, another torch was missing from its bracket. He moved towards it, his eyes raking the floor for fresh clues. "This way," he said. Clarissa followed him up the corkscrew passage. Their torches flickered and shadows writhed on the walls. Distant noises drifted down the twisting staircase. The murmur of voices and a buzzing like a swarm of bees. And then, from behind, a loud clank. "That sounded like the tunnel door," Clarissa said. They listened for a moment, but the only sounds were those voices and the buzzing and the quickening of their own breaths. "You scared?" Clarissa whispered. Wild Boy nodded. Blooming right he was. But he was also more determined than ever to find out what was happening here. His torch spluttered and fizzed. Raising the smoky light, he continued up the stairs, one step at a time, stopping, listening, moving on. They came to a sliver of a window, no wider than an arrow loop. Eager to get his bearings, Wild Boy peered through. What he saw made no sense. They were high up now, looking out across a patchwork of rooftops that spread towards the Thames. Below was a cobbled courtyard, surrounded by high walls, round stone bastions and spiked iron gates. A clutter of buildings hugged the wall, a stone chapel, a brick bungalow and wooden stables. Ravens hopped around the cobbles, pecking for scraps. "Looks like we're in a castle," Wild Boy said. "We can't be. There ain't no castles in London." There was one, Wild Boy knew, but they couldn't be there. The ravens flapped away as another top-hatted gentleman wheeled a wooden cart from one of the stables, carrying something large covered in a cloth. As the cart rattled on the cobbles, the cloth slipped and Wild Boy caught a glimpse of the object beneath. It was only a brief glance, but he was sure he saw a furry amber paw. "A tiger?" Clarissa said. Wild Boy remembered the remains of the experiments in Dr. Griffin's secret room. Tests on human body parts and animals. Let's keep going. The stairs ended in a vaulted corridor with rusty doors set into the walls. Wild Boy stood up on tiptoes to peer through a small barred hatch in one of the doors. The room inside was dark and dingy. There was an iron truckle bed against a wall, a bare table, and a broken bucket oozing excrement. "It looks like a jail cell," he said. Clarissa elbowed him aside to see. "Another horrid room. Why do these gentlemen always—" A face burst into the hatch. Clarissa screamed, but before she could step back, a hand shot through and grabbed her neck. A prisoner's face leered between the bars, bloodshot eyes, boils and insect bites. "Kill me," he hissed. Wild Boy grabbed his torch and punched the man's hand. "Get off her," he yelled. "Get your hands off her." The prisoner let go, and Wild Boy and Clarissa tumbled back against the wall. "You all right?" Wild Boy said, helping her stand. Clarissa nodded, but she didn't look all right. Her face had turned as white as snow as she stared at the cell door. The prisoner had slumped against the other side, and they could hear him thumping the wall and sobbing. Wild Boy remembered Dr. Griffin's journal and the graves at St Mary, Somerset. Was this man another subject for the gentleman's machine? Let's get out of here, Clarissa said. She tugged Wild Boy's arm, pulling him along the corridor. They hurried past more locked doors, heard prisoners muttering inside the cells. Clarissa stopped. Wrong way, she said. The corridor ended at a stone balcony that overlooked some sort of hall. That was where the noises were coming from, the buzzing and the voices. The air here was hazy and smelled of smoke. How do we get out? Clarissa said. I don't want to be here no more. We should get the police. Tell them what's happening. Wild Boy knew she was right, but he had to see. He had to know if it was true. The machine, what changes you? As he moved towards the balcony, a burst of blue light caught him in terrified silhouette. Clarissa shielded her eyes. What was that? Wild Boy, come back! Her protests were drowned by the noise from the hall, like angry insects all around them. Another flash of light shot along the corridor, but this time Wild Boy didn't flinch. He didn't even blink. He just stared into the stone hall. Rising in front of him was the machine.